There's gonna be no headphones, which I love. Yeah. Oh, you can close it if you like. Yeah, whatever you like to. Should be fine. Woo! What is going on, you guys? It is Dollar Cost Crypto here with the man, the myths, and the legends, the Olympians. But first, I've got a really special announcement and stuff. If you mind sharing the screen for 1 second, you guys. Crypto Mindset Vegas Meetup 2023 is live right now, you guys. I have a really special announcement. The Highest of Stakes movie is coming out August 3rd. We were going to be premiering it here in Las Vegas August 5th. So everyone who gets a ticket and comes down to the Las Vegas will be premiering it. I just bought 140. I bought the whole arena out. Wow. I bought it all out. So we have tickets for everyone. Anyone who goes to the Crypto Mindset Meetup will have a ticket to go. It's going to be at the Red Rock at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time that Saturday. But before that, we are having a pool party at noon at the Palms. From there, we're going over to Red Rock to go watch the movie. And then I got some more surprises for you right after the movie. So it's just a whole day of debauchery. And that's not even the main party day, which is Sunday. More info coming to a store near you. But with that, thank you so much. You can take it down now. I have a very special guest. I've got Iris Kyle here. The 10-time Ms.Olympia. The most dominant female athlete in all of bodybuilding. Hey.
Hello. Thanks for having me here today. It's a pleasure that I had the opportunity to be invited here. So, he already introduced me, but allow me to share a little bit about myself. I'm a business owner, two-time business owner. I'm the owner of Powerhouse Gym and Body Cafe right here in Las Vegas. And it's a pleasure that we have you a part of our facilities. We, myself, Hide, and myself, I apologize for my misspeak. I find myself very different, underrated athlete in the sport. Most of you guys may not or may have heard of me, but let me tell you, I was unbeatable during my era. And I'll say that in pride because it's a blessing that I was able to win 10 Miss Olympia titles, 7 Arnold Classic Miss Internationals, being the most decorated athlete here today, man or woman. So bow down to me, give me my respect, and know that I'm going to go down in history because I don't think it's a human on earth today that's going to accomplish what I have accomplished. So I'm proud, I'm blessed, I'm healthy, and I'm glad to be Irish Kyle. If you don't know me, get to know me, because it's a lot behind me. So don't hide. I don't bite. I'm very pleasant. Just know that if you're real, you can be in my space. But if you're not, please stay away. I want all positive attitudes around my center place. So, again, this is Irish Kyle in Las Vegas, born and raised from Michigan, and I look forward to what's in store for myself.
Damn. So I gotta hit a Pepe for that right there. That was crazy. Woo.
I don't even need your love, but you treat me like a stranger, and I feel so loved. No, you didn't have to stoop so low. Have your friends collect your records and then change your number. I guess that I don't need that though. Now you're just somebody that I used to.
You good? You good?
Good.
There we go. Yes, you're now.
Yeah.
Type 1 at first.
Can you hear me? Yes.
No sound.
No sound.
No sound.
No.
Yo. Did something happen? What the hell happened?
What happened?
You guys want to hit a Pepe and then I go get him?
Yeah, run
Messed up your road. You're going.
Okay, it came back. It came back.
It came back.
There we go. What the hell was that?
It's back.
We'll just have you redo your. There we go.
All right.
Hide, sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah.
'Cause
There we go.
Just
You guys-
because you took too long. Okay, so my name is Hidetada Yamagishi. People call me Hide. And I've been in the United States. Obviously, I'm from Japan. And I was 10-time Ms.Olympia. But, you know, I can speak more like a general population. And I've been competing bodybuilding 30 years since I was Japan. And I moved here as a professional bodybuilder. Then I competed Ms.Olympia for the first time from Japan, also Arnold Classic. So
and that was history, by the way.
yeah. So for Japanese people, I was the first one, and still the only one
Really?
right now. So
wow.
but of course, I hope somebody can come up and compete in Ms.Olympia soon, and I think it's gonna happen. But for now, I try to. Right now, I still competing. I'm coming back after 2 years absence to the Masters Olympia,
Really
which is in
cool.
August. So I'm middle of the prep. But bodybuilding and everything else, I'm really appreciate to be in this country. Japan is also a good country, but this is a land of opportunity, and I'm middle of it, and I feel like I'm doing American dream right now. So really appreciate to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting.
And I have to compliment this man on the beautiful Hellcat this man owns as well.
Yeah,
Me and him have the
thank you.
2 Hellcats in the parking lot, which I love.
Three.
That.
Yeah,
3. Oh, 3. You have one too.
Yeah.
Damn, man. We got
Whole lot of Mopar
Hellcats,
in
a whole
here.
lot of Mopar in this house. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
The chat's going crazy. He's like, another legend, too much mana, too much muscle, and too much strength in one thing. But that's incredible. I mean that's the kind of stuff. I mean, we just had Gary, the numbers guy. I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow. He was saying that you're on 11th life path. That means you're the athlete. We got the 22 life path, which that you're the bodybuilder, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
And I'm a 33 life path, which is like, I guess, the teacher, basically.
wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
That's crazy.
We'll be talking about numbers in crypto tomorrow, like crazy and stuff, and some pretty
22.
spicy stuff tomorrow. But I guess let's start off with this. You guys have like the coolest gym in all Las Vegas. I don't know if you guys, you can go over here to Iris for a second or Hide. The Powerhouse Gym in Las Vegas is fire, you guys. You guys have to sign up. This thing is sick, dude. I've literally since being there, I've lost like 15 pounds, and I've only been, I'm a baby in there. I've just gotten myself
You
in
just
there.
got your feet wet.
Yeah. But can you guys go into a little bit of like what made you guys think about opening it here in Vegas, or why did you choose Vegas? I mean, I know Vegas is a bodybuilding town, but people do Ohio, or they do all these. Like, what made you choose this instead of San Diego?
Well, basically, we had what we call Body Cafe, which is a nutritional supplement company.
Okay.
We started inside City Athletic. To give you a little backstory, everyone, their mom, dad, and uncles, sisters, brother, were coming through there, and they actually thought we were the owner of City Athletic, which was a gym. But other than that, we had a concept all along to actually go into the field of having a gym in Vegas since we are athletes.
Right.
We believe in health. We sell nutritional products. So it was a matter of time before we went in that direction. But again, it takes a lot of research from a demographic standpoint, and find a spot that's going to be adequate, spacious as far as space, and also good clientele. It makes a big difference that from an owner standpoint that you have similar minded people in your facilities that care just like you. So our dream was to start from the top and walk that walk, so the people who walk through our doors, who we're going to always honor and appreciate and be blessed to have, walk the same path that we walk. So if you come into the Powerhouse Gym, the atmosphere, the ambiance is world class. Very polite, very clean. Everyone's hands-on, helpful, knowledge, and a lot of experience. A lot of trainers are experienced. So we already knew our blueprint was on paper. Now it's all about us practicing it.
And I gotta say, it is the cleanest gym in America.
Thank you so much.
One thing I gotta add, our gym is most a different thing from other gym. Is like a clean freak. The staff, you guys can kind of see it. Staff always cleaning. So this is because
Me, I have OCD.
so some I gotta admit, first of all, I'm not I like to clean, but I'm not the crazy clean freak. So I thought it was a little too much, but people actually like it. Then people, some like a small percentage just wanna mess everything up, but
Right.
they leave. And every member we have right now is just clean. So this gym is hardcore, but it's clean.
It's clean. And you guys have a lot of interesting equipment. You have some of the first equipment from Japan over here as well.
And in Korea as well.
And Korea as well. Like those M torture machines. What a name.
They're torturing you, right? The biomechanics are excellent. They're rehab friendly. So anyone who's having some shoulder injuries, knees, anything, I guarantee you're going to get in that equipment and you're going to be able to have an easy workout and you're going to go home unsore. I have been to many gyms and I find myself leaving with tremendous pain, aches. But when you leave out of our gym, you're going to feel like, hey, I can go back.
Yeah.
And I like what I'm feeling.
And I love the pendulum squat machine.
Right?
Oh, that
Torture.
is killer. Kyle's been looking for one for such a long time.
I've been to gyms all over the place in California. Could never find one. First time I get here to Vegas, Powerhouse Gym, best gym goddamn ever. I'm like, hell
The
yeah.
Mecca in the desert, we're here to please.
Perfect.
Beautiful. So, okay. So you guys already have the best gym in Vegas. What I'm saying, one of the best gym in
Yeah,
Vegas.
you're going to have to correct that. Say it one more time.
The best gym in Vegas. There we go.
I accept
Worldwide,
that.
West Coast. There we go. But I wanted to get into this. So, right. So I mean, the reason I call this the stream kind of the Mount Olympus was the work ethic and the kind of and the sacrifice someone has to do to kind of get to that level. Can you guys talk to like what you guys have had to have worked towards, or what you have to sacrifice in order to get to the top? Because it doesn't matter whether you're doing in fitness or finance or in anything or endeavors or picking up girls and stuff like the guys in the chats and stuff.
Right.
There is like these basic things you can do that get you to a pretty decent level, but then to keep climbing every step higher, it is twice as much sacrifices. Can you speak to that?
Definitely I can. Well, I actually fell into bodybuilding, first of all. I was always athletic.
Okay.
Basketball, softball, a little cross country. But bodybuilding is another level because you have to change everything, your surroundings, your food, your time management comes into play. You have to really have a mindset that no matter what happens with the outcome, it's because you're passionate and you love it. Because the best winner or the best athlete don't always win. So with that type of frame mind, you can do anything. Right. And the first thing that I did is I eliminated all my surroundings. I told my parents, don't call me, I'll call you. I told my girlfriends and all of my closest friends, which I can count on my hand, I said, no more entertainment, no more partying. I need to be on one side of the fence. So that means that I shut down, I isolated, I ate, sleep, and drink water, supplementation, and I had a regimen that most people can't survive or stand to live by. And I went to work.
Right.
I learned all the material that I possibly can on my own because I kind of pretty much paved my way through the sport, meaning that I picked up every magazine, I picked up every book in the library, and I just copy-paste, and I did a trial and error. And sometimes you miss where you're trying to go, but you keep traveling. Because the path that you're taking, it might be a little dark at the beginning, but you start to see light, and it gives you that motivation because your body continues to change, and you get motivated because those changes are coming. So you keep pushing, and you're hearing your fans telling you, hey, you look good. But that's not the end goal, because you do have a short-term goal and you have a long-term goal, and you will not stop. You will not stop until that path is completed. I took some turns where it was a little bit questioned, and that's from the supplement standpoint, which we'll get into a little bit later.
Yeah.
But to climb that mountain, you just have to have patience, some skill set, the willpower, perseverance, and just go for it. Don't look back. That was my trail.
Now, I want to ask one extra question on that. So, I mean, well, actually two. One is, I know you've been talking about maybe making a book at some point about how to actually properly prep for a show, because people always like get their last day and kind of everything's like, they're bloated,
All
right?
over the place, yes.
Right, and so you've got like patent pending for how to do it, right? So that's one thing there, right? But
right.
The second thing is, so obviously it's already an incredible amount of like work ethic and like to even get to the Olympia stage. What's that? What's the extra push? I mean, obviously, I know like that. Like, I don't think people believe that things like mom and dad don't call me. I don't want to hang out with you. I've done everything except the mom and dad don't call me.
Yes.
I don't.
I was real about it.
But that is like the level of like dedication that it takes. I mean, I always tell people to go watch the last Dance with Michael Jordan and stuff like and like the team members everybody hates him. Basically, they admire him, but like they're like afraid. They're on the same team. They're afraid of them. Other people like are like as white as ghosts or just completely defeated. So obviously, we've all seen Pumping Iron and all these things. I know they played up like the drama and stuff, right? But did you have to play a lot of psychological games with your competitors, or what was like what are things that you did to get an edge? I mean, obviously, I know the working out and stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that happens on the stage and off the stage.
Well, of course, it's a mind game. I had no friends. I figured I was there for a reason. So actually entertaining my competitors, it didn't exist. I was very quiet. I was more introverted, and I didn't allow them to get in my head or in my space while I was traveling to get to the Olympia. So did I play mind games? I didn't have that time. It was no room to play mind games. Right. I allowed them to look at my body, and that was a mind game for them within themselves. So that's where I went. So it was nothing from like Arnold saying,
right,
you look like crap. I'm going to beat you. All those things, it didn't transpire in my book.
Right.
I just made sure that I displayed a physique that was untouchable each time I stepped on stage. Right. Because I had the girls backstage saying, who's going to get second to Iris Kyle? And that is definitely true from the can't even think of the names, but everybody who was backstage, the expediters, that's who I was trying to mention. They said, Iris, you have the athletes back here asking who's going to get second to Iris Kyle, because they knew I was coming there for business.
Yeah. That's so now Hide, no, on the same thing. Now you're competing. I think you were competing in the 212, right? 212.
Yeah, I was originally in the open because 212 came in later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember exact year, but back then when I started competing, it was only just bodybuilding.
Got it.
Yeah.
Just one class. Is this before they started adding like? No, I almost said bikini. Jesus Christ. But before they started adding, classic bodybuilding and bodybuilding.
Right.
Oh, okay. So
Exactly,
it's pretty that. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And and there's like all kinds of ones. There's like masters now, and there's like I mean that's I think that's really good for the sport because like I know people want to look at different kind of aesthetics and
Right.
stuff, right? But I guess for females as well, like what is there? Because I'm not 100%. There's female bodybuilding. There's bikini, and there's is there anything else?
It's bodybuilding, physique, fitness, figure,
Got it.
bikini, and am I missing something? No. Wellness.
Wellness.
The
Okay.
glutes. The glutes.
Oh, the glutes.
Ooh.
Oh, okay,
Unbelievable.
got it. Hey, for you guys to know. so obviously you were competing in open, and then you went to 212, right?
Right.
Now, is that the same for in the men's as well, the mind games? Are people playing mind game? I mean, obviously you could just ignore them, but yeah,
Well, I mean, pumping iron, so obviously they added dramatic effect. So in real life, I don't think they do a mind game, but put it like this: if you are like top Olympia contender,
Yes.
you have to be mentally very, very strong. You have to. If you are a lot of guys in the gym, most of the guys look great,
Yeah.
but on a stage,
It's different.
no one, like most of them disappear, meaning they can't peak because of the lot of pressures, and you have to travel, you have to put a ton on, you have to dehydrate yourself. So it's not okay. A lot of guys can be looking great or really strong on a gym or link, like gym champions
right.
type of guy, but only few percent of
Gym
guys.
PRs almost. The guys are just PR. Yeah,
Yes,
peeking
yes.
in the gym.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
true.
yeah, got you.
So, like Instagram, for example, you can find so many great physique, but in a real life, do they look like that? I don't
Right.
think so, right?
Yes.
So on a stage, you can't fake. So it's you have to have, of course, you have to have strong physically strong, but I think 100% it's mind. It's a
So when was your first professional show?
back in 2005. So I was in Japan still. So I
Okay.
came here to compete. And back then it was before social media. So only information I got was magazine, right? So I look at all these guys on a paper, and I kind of thought I knew how big they are. But in a reality, I look at them in a face to face, and I was scared because they are much bigger and much more conditioned than I thought. So I was scared to compete. Of course, I couldn't even race. I was just there. Then the second year, same thing happened, but that's when I thought, okay, I need to move here in order to compete with these guys, because to me they are like a monster, look like a monster. Like they didn't look like human, But when I start competing here, living here, training with them, I find out they're same human. Sometimes I superior in a training. I beat them because I was training really hard, and I was a little smaller size, so I had more endurance. So these big guys quit before exercise finished. So I start, making confident. Okay, these guys are human. I can beat them.
You humanized them.
Right.
You
Right.
knocked them. So, okay, that's actually a really good question right there, is that you guys were both competing really before social media really kicked off. I mean,
Right.
for me, I think social media is maybe like 2008. I mean, I have MySpace and stuff, but
Right.
but it wasn't the same level as Facebook.
Right.
So how? I just go back to you for a second. So how did you adjust to your competing, and then it goes to Facebook, Instagram? Because that's pretty crazy. That's really because we're like it starts morphing into like almost like people are blogging their life.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was the one who always hid. And
Okay.
when I say that, they already labeled me as introverted. But that was not it. I was really focused. I wasn't the person. I would show up to an event, but I would never stay. I was not the last one in the room. I will appear and I'll disappear. with this MySpace, the Facebook, and a little bit of the Instagram, I never liked the media because it's, to me, and I still say this today, even though it's our world today, it's a lot of misconceptions of people's livelihood, which is really not true. And when you meet that person, it's all another level.
Right.
It's different. So I made a point to not post. I did very little photo shoots. I kept my my ability to be considered relevant, large, because I wouldn't shoot. I wouldn't work with a lot of people.
So when you did, it was like, wow.
It was like, oh my God, I'm shooting with Iris. Iris is appearing, blah, blah, blah. So that was my way. And I would never, ever go on the internet and research my athletes or find out who's doing the show. It wasn't important. It was about Iris standing in the mirror and knowing exactly what she wanted to look like, which was the X factor. I knew you had to have wide shoulders, taper waist, big legs. So the internet was merely another device that allowed us to search and communicate in another way.
Right. This is like reminded me a lot of like The Shadow and stuff. You know, Dorian Yates, because he would just banned. He would just like go away.
Yes.
And just come back, and then everyone's like, oh, damn it.
Yes, they're like, shit.
We lost, you know.
Hell, Iris is here again.
Right.
Damn. Yes, and I did 2 shows a year.
Right.
The Ms.Olympia and the Arnold, and I won both every year, back and forth. So I don't want to sound like I'm very bragging. I'm bragging about myself, but it was legitimately true. Once you won the Olympia, you don't do another show. You wait.
Like, I wouldn't be mad at Tom Brady talking shit. Right? I mean, it's everybody's got their lanes of where like they're kind of going off, but I guess too, like there's something you said earlier, which was that, I mean, basically it had something to do with like they found you kind of not ungrateful, but like hard to work. Is that code for like they just couldn't make they were trying to make money off of you?
Right.
And because I know they take advantage of bodybuilders a lot.
They think
really
we're supposed to stay available for them to take our photos and put them in the magazine, and they get paid, and we just be that idol for our fans to view in the magazine. And I took it differently. I went to Alcorn State University, and I got a BA in business and a minor in accounting, and I literally said, I'm going to manage myself. Any photographer who wants to shoot Iris Kyle, amateur or pro, you're going to pay for those photos because you're going to get paid. So you're going to have to compensate me because I live by what I get paid. I did have a job, but I still needed that sponsorship, that large endorsement, which I did not have during part of my career. So I said, if I'm going to do a photo shoot, you're going to pay me $2,500. And anything else that I do, you're going to pay me. That's how
Iris has always been very, very difficult, you guys, in the industry.
Yes, I was very.
But I want to let that be known because that happens so much, and in every same thing in crypto as well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where like your up and coming channel, these other coins use you essentially just to, like, as exit liquidity for your community. Like you spend all this time to get this audience, and then they give you this little token, like, you know, jokingly, like a token,
coin.
Little coins and stuff like that, and then the person who does it gains like this little flash in the pan, and they make millions off of your likeness or off of your community, and that's it. And some guys, I mean, they're I guess they allow it. Other people, they don't allow that and stuff. And so I always find that really interesting. So Hide, so the same thing for you, right? Mm-hmm. Is social media is coming around, and I know you were talking about that. Basically, you know, these people are like monsters to you initially, but did social media help you like see that they're real life people? Because everyone's kind of self snitching. Is that what happened? Was it social media, or because you moved to the States and you saw them in the gym?
So to me, I'm a little bit different from Iris because I came from different countries.
Yes.
So let's see. Back then, there was no Japanese. There was no, foreigners, you know, to compete. Then or American, right? Then I wanted to compete. I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be making a living from bodybuilding, right? So I came here. Of course, first I had no sponsor, but the reason why I moved to California because it was a mecca, like a bodybuilding and a gold gym. All the photographers there, and then if I was training there, I was easily featured in the magazine. So I knew they took advantage of me, but I took advantage of them too, because I wanted to be in a cover to
Right.
be sponsored by. Back then it was okay if you're a good athlete, you get the supplements company sponsorship, you get the magazine sponsorship, you get the clothing deal. So these three are the main source of income
Right.
of professional bodybuilder back then. It's different now, but so I wanted to. I was aiming for that. Then I got first big contract with Gaspari Nutrition, which I still work with Rich Gaspari right now. But back then, 2009, I signed with them.
Oh, nice.
First time. Then I start, making money from just doing training and sleeping and eating.
Right.
Then next one came from a magazine, which I did a photo shoot with Master Mag, which was a Canadian magazine back
Right.
then. It was big, the Master Mag. And the third one was a closing deal. Then
He worked it.
yeah, I was, I wanted to be just, training, sleeping, and just, living bodybuilding life without working real job. I don't want to say real job, but that's happened to me. Like, so I just did a bodybuilding for 10 years, just training and everything else. Just, I just was focusing training. So that was my dream. And I wanted to be just like that, bodybuilding, traveling all over the world.
Right.
And I came, that dream came true. So because I use all these magazine and photo shoot, so I like it's opposite to Iris. I just wanted to be more featured.
Yeah.
All these media.
No, and I kind of understand that and stuff. Like, I mean, obviously, as like I'm an immigrant as well.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. It's Hispanic, Mexican.
Oh,
But I mean, a little easier to transition. Oh, you're in California. Oh, ¿qué pasa, compas?
Yeah.
Pero, but but it is that sort of thing where like you do have to work really hard to just
Yeah,
break
so
in,
it's
just so
different.
they allow you to like
Right.
the first step, and then
Right.
from there, it's just you go from
Right,
there, right?
right.
So, did you feel like you had to do much more like? I wouldn't say free shots or something, but like a lot more extra work in order to like for them to say, okay, Hide, let's give you a shot. Let's see what you have.
So I was probably I don't want to say lucky,
Right.
but I was different. So if I wasn't that good as a bodybuilder, no one really cared. But fortunately, I start being recognized by judges, and I start placing good. So then I was different. So I wanted to sell my image different way. It's like I'm from Asia. Then
Yeah.
so that's why I wanted to like stereotype with dragons. So
Yeah.
people think
Hey, you
Asians are
gotta lean
dragons.
into it. You gotta lean into it. Let's
Yeah, dragons, all these stereotype, but I didn't care. I wanted to represent
Right.
Asia. And answering your question, I needed to be doing more work. I don't know. I mean, I thought it was my advantage. Like I use my minority status as an advantage. So in Japan, like for example, being on time is very common.
Right.
You have to be on time. Like I was told.
you were here early.
Yeah. So
Very
like
functional.
still,
Oh, I'm sorry.
still I keep that habit.
Right.
Then if I show up on time or a little early, people say, "Oh, Hide is excellent," but to me it's normal, right?
Right.
So I use all these Japanese advantage as a. So when I came to here, I feel like it's more relaxed, and I feel
Right.
more like relaxed, and I feel. Because in Japan, really traditional is you have to be this and that.
Right.
Really.
Yeah,
So
you're on time. You're late.
Yeah.
You're 5 minutes early. You're on time.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like you have to be in their how you call it, like you kind of like feel like not relaxing. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Tension.
It's very
Lot of tension.
traditional.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
there's people that sleep and they're so tired. There's a class of people that sleep on trains.
Right.
just from
Yeah.
work.
It's
That's how
tired,
hard
yeah,
they're working. Yeah, it's a
tired,
working
yeah.
culture. Yeah.
So it's I feel like a lot of pressure in Japan, and but I came here and I really appreciate all these people's more like friendly and
Yeah.
relaxed, and there's some people
And lazy? No.
No, it's not lazy. Some people find it like lazy or like a negative way, but to me, it's everything else here. Like I feel great, and so I didn't feel like I did more sacrifice of work, but I just love being here and I love bodybuilding.
Got it. So I mean, that's that whole thing is like everyone's born with a different, like everyone's got a different, like a hand, right? But you got to play the hand the best that you can, right?
Right.
You got to use everything to your advantage, right? And then sometimes in some of these disadvantages, you use it as a chip on your shoulder to just push yourself hard. Now, I feel bad for the people who have got the 4 aces and they fumble the hand somehow.
Yes.
But this is what happens with guys, like a lot of guys and a lot of women, like in the financial sense, like they're very wealthy parents. And they don't have to try very hard, or they're spoiled rotten on that side, or they get lucky. I mean, this is why people who win the lottery, they go broke within the next 5 years. They lose it all. I mean, imagine winning $25-30 million. It's gone.
Gone. Can you believe it? I was watching a lottery situation this morning on TV about people making so much money. Now they're backstroking because they lost everything. Wow. Selling homes, and they have all this mail from others where they're asking for money and they don't have the money anymore. It's just like, just to know how to manage it.
It's family and stuff. So obviously, I know you told your family like no.
Yes.
but you guys are like, both of you guys are so successful. I mean, just statistically average, just of the population of any of it, doesn't matter race or anything, is the tip of the pyramid. That's why I call the Olympus, the top of Mount Olympus. I say this to my students all the time, is that when the last time we did the big party here in Vegas, we splurged, we went everyone nightclubs, we did everything because I wanted to show people what was that next level on the fun side, right?
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of them had never ever touched it, right? But when you do reach that level and people know you're successful, even if because I know there's a lot of people that this happens in crypto too. They're like, you're very successful, you're popular, but you don't have money. There's actually a lot of crypto guys that are degenerate gamblers, and this is in every industry. People who look very successful, they're Mr. and Mrs. Smith looking very successful, own the farm, and they got credit card debt up to here, and they're in big trouble, right? They're keeping up with the Joneses, but how did it affect you when people knew that you're Kyle Iris now? You're Hide, and you go to Japan and stuff, and you have a success, or people are knocking at the door trying to get things from you, or how do you handle that?
I from my standpoint, because I have that stance that's a little bit intimidating to approach, and they know that from not day one, but from my history of bodybuilding, I was considered introverted. So my personal life was hands off. I guarantee you, if we hung out for 2 weeks, everyone will ask you the question about me. They won't ask me. Right. So, in other words, my storyline would mostly be people are still afraid to ask the question. They're afraid to find out what's so mysterious about Iris. Or, don't you ask Iris that? No. You would most likely go to someone who's probably closer to me.
1 degree of separation, something
Absolutely.
like that. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that hell, you're in the gym. I'm very friendly.
Very friendly.
I use everyone's names. I go up and speak to everyone, talk to them, give them ideas on their workouts, the whole 9 yards. Also tell them, put your weights away, wipe the equipment down, all those things. Yep. But do people just reach out and say, Iris, could you help me? No, because you know what? And it's sad to say, most people, if you're going to give them some, please don't expect it back.
Yeah.
It's very high that you're actually giving away that whatever they're asking.
Right.
So, yes, we're at the top, but yes, we have other goals that we're trying to meet.
Right.
Do we want to take care of everyone as much as possible? Of course we do, but where do they leave us for our future? So we hand out some, but we have to also be responsible to say no. Right?
Right.
So that's my story on that.
And
if that made sense.
No, it made perfect sense. So that's why we want people to because everyone's a different story. But then it comes, because I have another question in a minute when it comes to that. So Hide, so now that you're like the first person from Japan to go to the Arnold Classic and the Olympia. Now you go back to Japan, or you're here in Vegas. You own the Powerhouse Gym, the best gym in all of Las Vegas.
I like that.
Coined.
But Or,
That's a coin. Sorry.
Yeah. Pen pending. But as God damn it. But as time goes on, right? I know, like this is kind of the question I was going to ask you in a second. But if they're not asking for money or that, they're asking for your time,
Yes.
right? Are people coming up to you asking you, can you train me? Can I work under you? Can you like online coach me? Like, is that what's going on right now a lot? Like where you feel like maybe they're trying to pile on the plate too much.
Yeah, how you?
Can I interrupt Hide?
Yeah, you can.
He's probably the most generous guy on this planet Earth, almost, that I know of. He will give you his last shoe, and knowing that he's not going to get it back, although he needs it. So I'm going to let him go from there.
So training people is one of my passion. I've been doing this since 20. So the first work I did was in a gym, and back then it wasn't even personal training. Just I was just teaching, because my experience. But right now, it's training business is really big, huge. And to me, like some people, Hide is making like tons of money, training people. I don't want to say this, but reality is not that like that. It's a lot of like, because let's say most of bodybuilder, I was too, but don't have much money, because if you make money, you spend money, invest yourself, food, supplements, etc. So but guys, they want to work out, they want to be good, and of course they ask somebody to train them, almost like most of them free or something little, right? But most of the time it's hard to say no, if I have time, right? So I don't mind that, actually because when I was younger and then coming up, I did the same thing, I asked my coaches, to train, and in exchange I was coming up, so they would coming up with me, right? So these things happen in the bodybuilding communities again, and it's really changed because of social media. Some guys most of them not competing, but they making great money, awesome money from their presence, without competing. But competition, I have to say, most of guys sacrifice a lot, but they get a little. So I feel still bad. So these guys competing amateur, they most of them are, most of them broke. They still competing there because that's their passion. So I want to just support them,
Right.
That's
and do you think it's all right, this might be tough to say, but like, do you think it's because it's a lack of just not knowing any business sense, or is it just because they're following the dreams and don't care what it or when they throw it all away,
Exactly. So if you have dedication to look like that, you can be anything good. You can be good at business too. But when I was competing, I was so focused on almost too focused on competing, bodybuilding. So I was I got all the sponsorship, but I barely live, especially in California.
Right.
I didn't save anything.
Those taxes, I'm sure.
So I was I was looking back, and I didn't want to say this. I wasted a lot of my time not learning stuff, like investing all these stuff. Now I'm of course I'm a little smarter, so I'm doing it. But I want to say all these upcoming guys, you can be that good, dedication. You can be great businessman. You can make money.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, that's why I would always recommend for somebody just to get even 1 year of a sales job, just something, because that sales will and maybe it just puts a little small gear in the brain that later on they're like, yeah, maybe I should make a shirt, or maybe I should do this, or like
sell yourself.
Just sell something from something or somewhere, especially now that's the next level of like monetization, because it's like, you're right, the sport was basically magazines or sponsorship and then prize money from shows.
Right.
Now we also have the avenue where you guys some guys don't even compete, or maybe they just get the pro card and then they're pretty much YouTubing,
Right.
doing stuff like that.
But see,
Would you do something? Would you do something different? I mean, I guess maybe not for you. Maybe not for you. I mean, you're the pinnacle.
Well, to be honest, and this is legitimately being very transparent.
Yeah.
If I had to turn the pages back, I would have to travel a different way, because we had the magazine, so we did look at those magazines and say, I want that too. But did we know exactly what that was that they were having because they were in the magazine?
Right.
No, we just know that we wanted to be in the magazine and we wanted to do exactly what we were witnessing in the magazine. So what our athletes are doing today is they're taking the fame from the professional athletes and wanting it too.
Right.
And they don't matter. It doesn't matter what it takes to get there. If they have to be broke to get there, unhealthy to get there, but have the outer appearance to be there, they're going to do it. This is going to come last when they don't have the physique. When are they going to wake up? No one can travel but themselves to get out of it. So that's how it works.
What you're explaining is literally something called the blue pilled alpha.
Yes.
Now this is usually for guys. They have a girl version of this, but it's the blue pill alpha is basically a guy that's coasting off of basically look or super talent, and just has a very bad mentality. But because he's so good looking or is so talented, that everyone just lets him go, lets him do. So the girls like, yeah, for sure, they're the girlfriend. And then what happens is as they get older, it fades away, the talent or the looks a little bit, and then life hits.
Wake up.
It's gone. It's the same thing with on the other side. It's more common on the woman's side, but that's because it's so many females that are just beautiful already.
Right.
We can't really call it like a blue pill, really. It's because that's kind of like the general operating sort of thing versus men. There is men that like have this unbelievable talent. Same thing with women. Unbelievable talent, or anyone can be delusional with if you have this God-given talent, this like incredible, like you're just like the percent of a percent of the population, or you're just so good looking, both man or woman, that you can just be stupid.
Right.
Right. It's really rare when you got that talent and you're
smart.
Oh wow.
Absolutely. You have the whole package.
And if you got that gift of gab, silver
It's
tongue
all
devil,
over.
it's all over.
And see, this is another very important point, is that we're at the top of the pinnacle of our sport. We're on the limelight. Everything is bright. Everything is blooming how we want it. And then we don't compete. Where do we go?
Right.
Do it get dark because we're not relevant? Or do we continue to grow? I'm going to be honest with you. When I competed my last show, I won. So I went out on top. So I'm still in heaven.
Right.
Most athletes return and they lose and they're not that great. Right? That value disintegrate. I was able to correctly live through Hide because he was still competing when I stopped. So I still had the nutritional store, and we were still traveling. We had shows in Japan 2 a year, and I was still in the mix. I just wasn't on stage.
Right.
Living through Hide, also still being very relevant in the sport, I didn't have a chance to descend or have that depression or be in a dark space. That's the same thing with someone very beautiful, very smart, talent, all those things start to fade. Everything
just it's a big
descends.
crash.
Yes. So you have to let your brain work for you as much as possible, and we're still learning. There's a lot of other things that we're trying to do and learn. We want to pick your brain.
Sure.
So it's a lot of growth still going,
Right.
and that's what it's all about.
Because I mean, you guys. I mean, I've known a lot about, and I don't know the crazy level bodybuilders like you guys, but I mean, from the bodybuilders I know, yeah, they're broke or they're they're doing okay, but nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy.
So now that you guys, you guys are top of your sport, you guys are making money, you guys are working hard, and you guys are investing money. Obviously, are you planning on trying to expand Powerhouse as a brand, or are you just making investments, doing real estate? Because like right now, over this next year, we're probably going to get a real estate bottom as interest rates increase. Stop me at any point if I'm talking too much, but
No.
we're going to get a couple more interest rate increases, which means it's going to put pressure on real estate, and then we're going to start having the rates come down. So that means like, well, for a point in time, maybe a year or so, we're going to have real estate being semi-cheap-ish, and then it's going to start jacking up. Same thing with equities, crypto, everything. If they lower rates down, money's going to be flowing. And this is a big thing that I try to teach students is during those times, is during that time when everyone's, drinking that ambrosia that's got that, like, it takes them off the table. Because this happens a lot in my industry. I would imagine it happens in your industry as well, but except when someone falls off, they don't come back up. Right? Is that we have like this, every 4 years, we bounce up. Every 4 years in crypto, right? So we get to live a couple times. But this is why we say it usually takes 2 cycles for people to make it, 3 to really get the nut, basically. Right. So are you guys investing in equities, crypto, real estate, or are you guys putting it all back in your business? Because I know that's a really big thing of like getting older and getting smarter is knowing where to put your money.
Right. So what we're doing is we're taking baby steps. Okay. And when I say baby steps, is that it really takes 5 years for a business to be successful.
Yeah.
You don't want to jump. You don't want to leap too far until you have that blueprint mastered. And you have to be smart doing it. You don't want to cut corners, but you want to be smart with the money that you are bringing in. So to really try to venture out and open another gym, it wouldn't be very smart of us, right. Especially the equity as far as real estate right now.
Right.
Do we want to venture out? Who knows what the Lord is going to allow to process for us. We take our money, we save it. I totally believe in taking my money and making it invest in a more cash flowing aspect.
Right.
I don't know your side of the board.
Yeah.
That's why I want to get more information to help me have cash work in the best of my ability, and he as well. So just really being smart with what you got. And, of course, the banks are not doing anything for as far as making money. So investing in trying to make it grow is very important. That's where we are right now. But business-wise, opening more businesses, I don't think that would be very smart for us. Right.
Yeah, because there is that whole thing of just having too much on your plate.
Yes.
I've hit that a couple times, Charlie. We've hit that quite a bit. Like, we always bite off a little too much sometimes, but it just is. But we love it. But in terms of my industry, it is it's mostly capital appreciation. So we put $1 in. We usually get somewhere between 10 to 15 out. That's the range there. 5 if we did kind of bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Now
we try to let Mark, because he's in the business.
Yes.
I don't want to. I know he doesn't have a mic, but he's been in the finance business for. Mark, he's been in the finance business 30 years.
Sheesh.
Here, come to the mic. Scoot up.
You want to come to the mic?
And he pretty much helps us make wise decisions.
Got it.
He share a lot of the business side of what we should and shouldn't do, the investments we should make, and things of that nature. If you want to speak a little bit about, don't be shy. It's okay.
No, they're doing all the right things. They're focusing on.
You got to come up to the mic.
They're doing all the right things. Not to speak for them, but they assessed their cost structure really well when they started the company, and the way they approached the capital structure was really smart. So they're conservative business people.
Yeah.
And I think that comes from their incredible work ethic.
Right.
And not taking anything for granted, and both of them put down incredibly strong foundations in anything that they do.
That's perfect. So that's the main thing too, is just like now I've got like I'm in crypto. This is like high risk, high return, but also extreme danger, of course, right? So in crypto, right, the younger the person, the more they can be a little crazy. Because like basically, if you're 25 and I mean, realistically, if you're 21 and younger, your money's doesn't do anything really, unless your parents have saved you up something and you have like a nut for college or something like that. But the older you are, the less you can put in, kind of, because you can't mess up what you already have because you have less time to make it back. Right. Now I can't ever like, you have to put money. No, that's crazy. No, it's everyone. Like, this is why in the beginning of my show, I always have, at the end of the day, you are the person who pushes the red or the green button. Buy or sell, right? But normally you put money in the bear market. So when everyone hates crypto, this is when you buy. We had the last party we did, right? It was a month before we hit the all-time low. We bought Bitcoin at $15,500. We bought Ethereum at $800. Bitcoin's at $30,000. Bitcoin's at $30,000. Ethereum's at $1,800. So we're about a 2.2x on Ethereum, 2 times on the money on Bitcoin, and that's the big two. That's the big two. That's like that's like our S&P 500 and Nasdaq. That's our float basically. Whatever those do, it's sort of like a fat man on a teeter tot. If those do a 10x, some of these small ones do 20, 30, 40, 100. But it's the risk and stuff like that, because it's all about percentages. So as for me, like right now, I'm probably 90-10 crypto assets and stuff like cash and stuff like that, real estate, but 90% crypto, of course. So I have a good portion in Ethereum, but because I've been in the market a long time, I've had assets and coins for over 6 years. I have positions and things that I've had for a long time now, so they've been able to grow to a lot. Like Hex has grown a lot for me, Pulse Chain, PulseX. I still have Litecoin, LOL. Right, so I've had some of these older assets, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I still have those as well, and I have this good, well-rounded portfolio, but it took me a while to build it up, because I mean, I was buying it since 2016.
Wow.
I'm 32 right now, so like, I mean, it's basically, I've been buying it since I was like 25, basically, right? Really putting money into the market, and it was me basically taking I used to run a landscape business out of California in Monterey, and I just would every day. Initially, when I started it, like was homeless for like 4 months, living out of a 2006 Dodge Charger, the red one. Kyle remember?
Really?
You
Clearly remember that one.
You could hear it from 3 blocks away, turning on like boom, those loud exhaust, living out of the car. But we saved up money, got a truck, and then just kept buying tools from there. And I had this is also the thing. My family did help me. They gave me, my uncle gave me a couple houses to start off. $160 a month, $80 a month, a couple houses, and then from there, I was able to kind of part-time work with my father and his company, and then on my own until eventually I built it out to myself, where I was working completely by myself.
Wow.
In this little truck, it was like a white Nissan truck, and then eventually I ended up upgrading to like a 1989 red Tacoma pickup, this little pickup truck with these little things on it. But I then eventually grew that out, where I niched into irrigation work, and grew the business from just myself to 20 employees.
Wow.
And made that $1 million business.
Wow, that's awesome.
Killing myself for sure. I mean,
Right.
I have the back injury to prove it already.
Right? So
I'm
now-
32, kind of limping like an old man a little bit. But slowly, like some days I would like skip lunch just to put $20 into Bitcoin, and slowly over time I through $20, $40, as I started getting more and more work and just really saving up, I was able to get a full Bitcoin at the time, which was like $6,000. And some of these Bitcoins that I had in Ethereum that I bought for $80, I put it into Hex and some of these other coins, and I was able to turn that into millions.
Wow.
But I was fully,
Focus.
I was only work and my investments. So the beautiful thing about my work as a blue collar worker at the time is you could turn it off, and you can only work from sun up to sundown. That's it. So I was able to just funnel capital into there, but because I was young, I was able to, in my head, I was like, okay, I can take the risk right now. I can throw everything into it. Now, I'm still throwing a good chunk into it, but I'm saving a lot of money, and then I'm about to buy some real estate and stuff like that. So, like, I'm doing that side now, like, because this is why, like, I just recently was on Robert Kiyosaki's show this morning, and this is kind of the thing is, like, crypto and real estate are really like this, because real estate's kind of like the granite floor we wish we had, but it's grows steady, versus crypto is very sporadic, very huge ups. So in crypto, we kind of want solid ground because we don't have it. It's like we kind of live in quicksand a little bit, or like in a house like that. So, what we do is like, so most of our capital is like, we get huge capital appreciation, and for about a year and a half we have good income because these coins provide yield. So that means like it's staking it is basically, it's almost like a promise not to sell. So I'm promising not to sell it, and it will pay me a return in inflation or in just the revenue of the digital company that it is in the space. And then during certain times, like, I mean, I remember during I would say like peak of 2021, like I was making like 40,000 a day, just off of yield alone, just coming in. But that was during peak times and stuff. So during those times, and I was just throwing that into stable coins. So anytime you hear stable coins, that's USDC. That's dollar coins, right? So one of the big mistakes people do is they make a bunch of money on the coin and they leave it there. And what'll happen is Ethereum will look... Ethereum is a stable... It will look boring. And what'll happen is when it goes up like this, they should throw it either into dollars or into Ethereum, because Ethereum's so it's like the S&P 500. It keeps chugging along up and up and up. And what happens is your company's high and fly one year, and then next year it doesn't do anything. So that's the big mistake, is that a lot of people, they you have to rotate assets sometimes. But this is where it gets a little complicated. This is why we tell people, like, if you're going to invest into it, you should have, especially if you're brand new, half of it should be in Bitcoin and Ethereum, because you want to have long-term capital gains, because our industry is very cyclical. We have to take profits, so we don't want people to have to take these like short-term capital gains, which means that you can get taxed at 30%, or because if you make $1 million, you're maxed out at federal. But luckily in the beautiful state of Las Vegas, we do not pay state taxes.
No state taxes.
And you learn really quickly about taxes when you make that first. You're really happy. You're like, wow, this is so amazing. I finally made some money. And then like Uncle Sam's like, hey, half.
Hey, Kim, give me some.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then the problem is too is like people have spending habits.
Yes.
And then we had tons of guys. They made hundreds of. Guys who came in with a couple grand, pulled out their first 100,000 of their life. And a year later, poof, it's gone. And they're like, Miguel, I don't know what to do. I'm like 15 in debt and stuff like that. And we've had to talk to some of these kids. It's first, like a lot of people, it's their first time ever making money. And they're like, the government's going to take me. Like, no, it's okay. You can make a payment plan. It's not the end of the world and stuff. We can work it out. And then they dug themselves out and stuff. But there's that whole thing of not like being a mentor and being like the same thing. Like there's people like, it's my first show and I placed last. It's all over now. Yes. I'm going back to Korea. And you got to tell them to stick it out.
Right.
And
yes.
This is why we say crypto's a game of attrition. It's just, it's different. It's the same game, different things. And that's why it's all about these little
fights.
And this is why I call myself dollar cost crypto. It's your dollar cost averaging into these positions. And there's a joke with like people think that I'm just like consistently throwing money into the same coin forever. No, it's during certain times. Like cryptos usually they go down when we had a bear market, they go down 80%. And this is when you start throwing these little bit of money into them, right? I want to give a big shout out to Hide over here buying Pepe.
Yeah. So that's what happened if you have no knowledge of it, just so.
You did pretty good though. You have it in you have a Coinbase and a Coinbase wallet. I'm kind of like proud of you, man.
But I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I would love to learn, this stuff.
We will definitely we're gonna have both you guys in the courses and stuff, as you as well if you like.
Yes.
And
for sure.
That's what we do. We take people from complete novice to intermediate. Right. Now there's a lot of people that teach things or say like, oh, as soon as you take my trading course. We do not do trading, we do investing. It's a 4-year cycle, so it's more of like a 2 to 3 year hold. Take profits, and then we see what happens with the lay of the land, because in crypto, 1 month in crypto is like a year in the equities. It's that crazy. This is why it's so insane. Like our industry is open 24/7, 365, 7 days a week, no holidays off, always on. I can wake up in the middle of the night going, oh my God, I need to sell. And like I have to sell. Or sometimes, like it's like, oh my God, the girlfriend. Oh my God. Right. So, this is why like it takes that self-control, and to like, sometimes it's, for some people, especially on their temperament, like especially if I notice a person's really like jittery, look at it once a week. I don't give that advice to everybody. I want people to like just something once a day, 15 minutes, one video here, an article there, look at the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, cool, and that's it. But for some people, they can't handle that, and they need to just see it once a week. And what'll happen is they get so used to it that they're like, wow. Like this is what you want to know. One of the craziest facts of being in like investments and stuff is that if you're the best performing type of investor in equities or even crypto are people that died and they don't know it.
What?
Yeah, so a lot of times people have their bank accounts and they have it set to like a DCA, like $500 a week, $1,000 a month,
right,
and they pass away. And no one informs the company about that, and there's still money in the bank account. So what happens is the best investors are the ones that just leave it there.
That's similar to people who join the gym.
Yeah.
They're like,
I'm dead inside.
Of the year, January, February, March, they're in there cold-heartedly. Next thing you know, back to the regulars.
Yep.
Yeah.
and they're still members, right?
The minute I saw the gym, I paid a whole year up front. I'm taking. I'm staying here. But okay, this is more of a selfish question of mine.
Okay.
But how long have you guys been in Vegas?
12. Personally, I've been in Vegas at least 12 years.
Okay, and he did
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years. Was the traffic always this bad? Like I remember last
Hell
year, it
no.
wasn't. Last year was not that bad. I feel like this year's horrible.
Everybody's coming from California, Arizona. Oh.
Take offense.
I mean, because California is expensive. Because I was in California, I was in Orange County, and
Oh my god!
oh my God, it was crazy. It
must have said
even
Calabasas.
crazy. I was right down there by Newport Beach, Huntington Beach area.
Yeah.
So as I was competing, I just really wasn't crazy about the travel. So I just basically moved to Vegas in the middle of my career, so I could just focus on the Olympia.
Man, the real estate was nice here when you first moved here. Wow.
I'm telling you, but now it's saturated, and there's so much traffic. It's just like California now.
Right. Now, it is, but I part of me wants to blame the F1 that's coming. Right.
Oh yes,
They gave I didn't
they
know
gave a lot of money.
800 million just like here. Okay,
Here,
starting
go
off,
get
we'll
it
give you a little more extra.
Yes.
So supposedly they gave $800 million to fix roads around Las Vegas. I haven't seen the improvements.
I know. All I see is construction.
Yeah, I'm driving down the road and all these roads are like boom, boom, boom.
Nails in your tires.
Yeah, a lot, especially rocks. And that's why I had to wrap the car just in a film. I have these huge cuts already everywhere. I'm not even driving fast. I'm just 120 miles an hour. Just simple. No, no, just driving normal down the road, and it's like there's that's why I tell guys when they drive over here, drive in the middle lanes because all the other cars are pushing all the debris to the sides of the roads.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My nice Mercedes can't take that.
Hey. So Hide, right? I mean, so obviously you, it was a buddy of yours that got you into Pepe, right? And you got a little Ethereum and stuff. Mm-hmm. The beautiful thing is you did pretty good for your first time because most people that choose a coin,
Oh,
it's
really?
zero. Oh yeah, they fall for XRP Zen, and right. But that coin, it's right now we pretty much have bottomed. Outside of us, if there's obviously there's war or something, something really bad outside of that, but we're about 30% from the bottom, basically. So if we were to get those interest rate increases, the 50% basis points that we're going to get later this year, that means Pepe could, whatever you have there, it could drop another 20-30%, and that's it. So that's that you get. This is the one thing that you get very thick skin in crypto because it goes down a lot, but it goes up a lot. Versus in equities, if it goes down a lot, it could take a while for it to recover, but it's good long-term investments. But that's where you put put it there,
and go away. And
go away. Well, that way I still want you gotta
take a peek.
You gotta take a peek always. A little due diligence, right? You gotta trust but verify.
Are you taking a peek?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, right now, yeah, Miguel.
So for you guys who are starting off, Ethereum.
Okay.
18. So let me see if I can share the screen for 1 second. It is. Thank you, good sir. So right now, Ethereum. So these are the two Bitcoins, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Right there.
Yeah, those two right there. And I'll give you this websites later, but $30,590 and $1,870, basically $1,880, basically. So one of the big things that when people look at this are like, I don't have $30,000, or I do, but why? I mean, that I could put a down payment on a car. I can do this. I can do that. I can get my wife out of my life. One of the wonders of money, right? And you can buy $5 of Bitcoin. We were telling this to Robert Kiyosaki. We were saying that you could go on Cash App for $5. This is what I used to get my first Bitcoin. My first full Bitcoin that I ever had was I did it at $5, $20, $100 at a time until eventually I got the full thing. And that in crypto, that is one of the big moments that when you have a full Bitcoin. It's the big thing. It is getting harder to do because it's getting more and more. The average American's $50,000 a year, $40,000 a year. Even if a person's like got their costs down real low and stuff, mooching off a mom, whatever we have to do in this life, right?
Right.
There might be saving 15,000, right? This is why why we push guys so hard in the red pill and stuff to earn as much as they can, work hard. The work ethic that you guys have and my brother has and you guys have is just to work as much as possible, do what you can, provide as much value. And I find a lot of guys will get to that 80,000, 100,000 pretty fast because we're having so much money printing happening in the world that there's more opportunity. People are willing to take shots when equities go up. I didn't know anything about equity stocks or anything, real estate. But I started noticing patterns when I would listen to Bloomberg radio and I was just cutting lawns and stuff. And I would just notice the stock market hit an all-time high. Hey, Miguel, you mind if we put a lawn in today? Sure. And they were like, I was just telling my dad because I was like, hey, Dad, every time the stock market goes really high, the customers really want to buy stuff or do jobs. Yeah, Miguel, because my father's name is Miguel as well. I'm Junior, right? And then he's like, hey, Miguel, yeah, we can't do the job right now. Things are just kind of tight. Oh, yeah, no problem. And stuff. The stock market's like, and because I was wondering, because that's the big thing is transitioning, not just, you guys are in the business side. That's good. So it's sort of like if you go, let me see, do I have the book here? Oh, I may not. I usually have the Rich Dad Poor Dad, the quadrant and stuff. It's a really good illustration. It's been around a while, which is, you're a specialist, so it's like a doctor, a lawyer, something like that, but you're still kind of in the rat race. You have just a general worker in general, so it's like, I don't want to say wage cuck, but wage cuck, you have a specialist, business owner, investor, right? The four quadrants, the L7 loser, right?
Yes.
And those 4 points there are, do you want to be on the right side of that, which is you're either a business owner, which you guys are, right? So you now are essentially with the business, you've gained scale. And scale is one of the most powerful things I've ever learned about. This is why I do a show, is that whatever I do, I'm amplifying it out. I've done shows before where I've had 600-800 people watching me live that I could fill an entire parking lot, just fill the people just listening to me. And at the same time too is when you guys do the show, that's actually scale as well. You're in the top of Olympia scale. You have the whole place filled with people. So even if a little bit of people support you, it ends up equaling to a lot of not just financial value, but social capital and everything else like that. So now that's the business side. Now that's scaling. That's taking your physical work and then manifesting and multiplying it out depending on the verticals you have. And then there's investment, which is making money while you sleep. And you can both do that. But the business side is more of you're pushing toward, no matter how much I invest into Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett has still got to do the correct moves to make that thing go up. I have no power over that versus business. I have control over my destiny, right? So it's very active and semi-active, right? In crypto, it's a bit different because some coins are so small that you may be able to bring so much people into it that they actually will go up with what you're doing. But once a coin gets to the size of Bitcoin and Ethereum, I could say Ethereum. I might be $5 of that $1,800 maybe if I'm lucky. Thank God, like that, right? So that's kind of the difference there. So so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take my guys who are in the W9 or the specialist or in the business and get them to get into the capital class, the investor class, the I, right? And that eventually earn you through REITs, through stocks, through investing into staking hex, yield farming, sort of things like that. These are sort of investments you can do that brings in revenue and in turn also capital as well. But there's also something called a dividend trap where you make some investments that are paying you money. You're making 5-10% a year, 30-40% in certain things in crypto, but the price keeps going down. So you're earning money, but you're not really gaining also in capital. What you want to do is you want this, either it stays flat and you earn money, or it goes up and you earn money. So those are the good ones. But that's kind of where do you want to be long term? Where eventually you have such a portfolio. This is why people want to be, shout out to Justin Waller, a good friend of mine. He's buying lots of real estate right now and is having that passive income. But I tell people passive income isn't passive, because you got to be watching it, or you got to be working in it and stuff. Oh, there we go. Shout out to Rich Dad Poor Dad, the cash flow quadrant. There you go. But great man, by the great dude, by the way. Yeah, shout out to that. And then of course the original book, not sponsored by the way, but hey, he gave us like a stack of all his books, Ken McElroy and all of them, like good dudes. But shout out to George Gammon as well. But so that's kind of what we're trying to do is like we're teaching that side of it. We're just the crypto side, which is like the new guys coming in. So I can go really deep into all this stuff, but I want to get maybe back to some questions and stuff to see what everyone's saying. But yeah, Blake, we're Tomb shares all the way, bro. We're going all the way to Tomb shares. T shares, hey, them T shares and L shares. So I guess now, like, you guys have gotten to the point now where you guys are really looking for you guys are trying to get into other investments and that's the beautiful thing about you guys is like you guys are always trying to learn. You guys have always had that, or is it only just off of things you're interested in?
We always trying to learn. I mean, as long as we're living, that's important for growth. So yes, we're always trying to learn new ways to earn capital, make ourselves better.
Yeah. Sorry, the chat's killing me. My brother's name is Kylo Tren on Twitter.
What is his name?
They're like it's a steroid joke name. It's like a Kylo Tren.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's like how do I get big and strong Trenbolone sandwiches, right?
Oh wow!
Yeah. Well, we can go into that topic, I guess, if you wanted to or not. But now. This is a good one. This is such a good one. Okay. So one of the big things that I've noticed, and so this is sort of like it has something to do where we're heading towards because they're trying to make TRT illegal in some states, is because they don't like that people. So normally what ends up happening, your wisdom goes like this and your energy goes like this, right? And what's going on now is that through like testosterone replacement therapy or steroids or anything like that, you take yourself to the point where you have the testosterone of a 21-year-old,
right,
but the wisdom of a 45-year-old, 50-year-old. So you're at the top of your game. You got your energy back somewhat. I mean, you still got things. We're all creaking a little bit. But do you feel that them banning it is basically to try to control us, or I don't know. It's like because everyone I've interviewed people and they're different spec like Miguel, you're crazy, bro. Like no, they're not trying to ban it, but I see it happening right now. I see the little pushes they're trying to do. I mean, when the virus came around, they were trying to make it like let's just say I had the cold and you caught the cold, that you could sue me for giving you the cold, which is a normal human thing for all of time. Like you remember chickenpox parties?
Yes,
I remember chickenpox parties. Sorry. No, not cool. But do you feel like what do you do? I mean, because like the difference between like TRT versus like getting on high steroids, like what's the difference? Is it a big difference in terms of how it makes you feel, or do you feel like it's just more muscle growth and then people with a bad attitude have the attitude?
It's a myth.
It's a myth.
I'll say this on my behalf of what I know.
Okay.
TRT. Most likely, you probably go into a clinic and you're seeing someone in the professional field that's going to give you the right dosage, and basically on your blood work, it's going to provide you adequate dosage of that TRT.
Right.
With the black market steroids, you're swimming. You can drown. Right. It's a very dark space because you don't know what you're getting.
Is it because it's not standardized anymore? Because I know it. I'm just trying to go from it. I know it was legal in the 70s. And do you think now that it's like because this is just from people telling me, because I haven't done steroids, not yet, but not yet, but they said that it was like it was legal, then it became illegal, but it was still like pretty good stuff, and then they started getting very squirrely. Do you think it's because you had a lot of Chinese manufacturers, or you just had people making like stuff out of bathtubs?
I'm gonna still say it's illegal. I wouldn't get on the plane with it.
Right.
I wouldn't carry it around and be loose with it. So me personally, I'm saying it's legal to the day I'm die.
Right.
I don't know how they feel about it, but you never know what can happen.
Right.
If you're stopped and you have those kind of items with you, you just really don't know which way it's going to go for you. So
Right.
you better stick with what you really know, and I think is illegal
Right.
unless you have a script.
Right. Which it isn't that difficult for someone to get the script because, like, I mean, like with all the things that they're feeding us or stuff like this. Shut up, my monster. But so Hide, I mean, do you think that they're on purpose trying to make our testosterone lower?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
The somebody tried to control us. It's, I think, definitely yes, and somebody do want us low energy for some the degree, and I always thought when I was in Japan, so in the States, a lot of people watch
Japan as well. Japan as well.
Yeah, Japan is more.
Wow.
So I would
Yes,
say
that's true.
in Japan, most of people watch only five TV channel. So it's,
Yes.
it's
Wait.
So
Yes.
it's-
Channel 7. That's
yeah,
it.
yes, 5. It's not even 7.
Just Naruto, you guys. Just
Yeah.
Boruto. That's it.
So-
That's all we're watching.
So when I came here, I was surprised there were 100 of TV channels here. So I was like, holy shit, it's a lot. Right? But in Japan, believe me, it's most of the people watch only 5 channel. So
True.
imagine if you put the certain information in 5 channel, it's so easy to control people.
Right.
Then I thought, I believe certain things, and okay, let's say CNN, right?
Yes.
In Japan, CNN is everything, right? You know, like in a foreign news, it's always CNN. You know, CNN came in, and it isn't even full script. I mean,
Right.
full what do you call it?
Information.
Like the spectrum on both sides.
Yeah, so it's cut it, right?
It's edited.
So okay, let's say police brutality.
right.
So police was hitting the people not doing anything, but actually hitting criminal people, right? If you see whole script, whole film,
Yeah.
but they cut it. Then they told people in America, police hit the regular non-criminal people. Then
Right.
people believe it.
Right.
So I was one of them, and I came here. It's not just CNN; it's all different, channel. It's different, information here. Then, if you go Twitter or Instagram, or most of them not complete information. If you can't believe everything else in there, so you have to do your own research. Obviously, if somebody wants to control us, it's very easy. I think testosterone is one of them.
Got it. So this is dumb, but do you think? All right. So obviously, you came from Japan. You're working out. You know the diet in Japan.
Right.
Do you think it's from all the soy in the diet, or do you think it's just because they're pushing a certain mentality? I know it's a very high. Anytime you're working high stress, a lot of hours, like low sleep, your testosterone goes down.
Right.
But there is also something with food. I know like Japan is so famous for the convenience stores. Like 7-Elevens and everything are like incredible compared
They're
to over here.
great.
Yeah, they're incredible, right? And they have a healthier diet. They have fish and stuff, but they're also dealing with low testosterone too. So do you think it's more of just like the amount of, because Japanese work very hard. Like Hispanics and Japanese, my God, very
Work
up there.
ethic is
We're
there.
We're out here trying to kill each other, working hard, right? But do you think it has to do more with like the crazy hours, or because it has to be somewhere? It's either like they're not getting enough sleep, they're being overworked, the food, or I know they drink a lot, and it's a big part of culture and stuff. Shout out to Charlie, all this information right here. But they push having to drink with your boss.
Right.
Yeah.
So all these culture, it's not the last 50 years. It's like before war. Like it's a culture. So I'm not sure back then. Of course, the certain people wanted to control, but low testosterone. It's more like I spoke in a out of mic, but it's like a social pressure. Like I think in America, I think this is the only country you can kind of still can say whatever you want. You know, like still, you know, it's
And people don't believe that, but it's true.
yeah,
It is true. It's
if
still
you
true.
if you go other countries, it's far more strict. You know, far more limited
Right.
than Japan, Europe. I think it's more traditional. So it's true in some certain degree. The low testosterone came from that culture things, social pressure. So again, I mean, I'm appreciate being here because American people probably take it for granted, but we came from a place. So this is still the most free country in the world, still.
God bless America, right?
Yes.
But I have a theory of like why, but I seems not appropriate.
What? Say it.
But all right, so I'm only bringing up the Japan version because it's the same in every other culture. So obviously the food in America it's easy, the food, right? Of course,
Yes.
the food, the drink, you know, and all that stuff, right? But you know, the bad water, you know, you can't drink tap water, right? Of course, right? But I've wondered if it's really the social programming from not just like I'll use TV as an example, right? Like there's a lot of people in, and this is from as a complete outsider. I'm really ignorant to this, but like you see some Japanese men who, you know, very like you had like not yakuza men, but very like the father was the head of the family, the family structure, and then now you have half the guys like hi, how you doing, you know, like, hi, you know, right? And the pushing of like K-pop bands and stuff, because this wasn't Japanese. This came from Korea. No, shout out on the Koreans, but like, you know, they have a very feminine. Instead of having very like good-looking masculine men doing stuff, it transitioned into these very effeminate K-pop stars.
Right.
And this sort of like anime is awesome, but they push very feminine men,
Yes.
or very weirder sort of like female characters as well. I don't. It's so I maybe because like because there's things like where people go to jail and you know people get out of jail and they're ripped for the first time, but that's just because and most of them say, I mean, obviously there's drugs in jail, but you can't really take much. I mean, like
Right.
it's impossible, right? But people are working are in this thing where like, okay, it's do or die. I've got to act tough. So I wonder it's because of the attitude of like I have to survive, so my testosterone rises versus I'm being effeminized with all this culture. Do you think that's because like I see that in America, I see that through social media, and I mean this is why I love bodybuilding so much, because there's something very masculine and awesome about it, and kind of like you take control of your life. You know,
Right.
I can't just add, I have to make it. I have to through hard work build it.
yeah,
Right? It's
right.
bodybuilding, not body adding.
Right.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's I think like when I visit Japan, it's very different. I love it. Their culture is hardworking.
Yeah.
They're not judging you. You do see a lot of thinness going on. The men are more thin. The men are wearing more makeup. They're very pretty.
Makeup.
Yes, I kid you
Okay,
not.
you caught me off guard on that
Yes,
one.
Sealer.
yes, they are. They're wearing a lot of makeup. They're in tune. They're like divas. They're really in tune with their appearance.
Right.
They're not really trying to put on a lot of masks.
Right.
They just want their outer appearance to look very sleek.
Like toned. just
Yes,
kinda-
very
yeah,
toned,
the keywords.
haircut, nails. I mean, they're starting to look better than us women. I'm like, wait, slow down. So you have a little of each side, but overall, I think it's going to always remain an individual
Right.
decision.
Right.
Of course, you won't and you cannot take it to the public scene and pretty much say, this is what I'm going to do, and you can't do anything about it. But in your own household,
Yeah.
come on, everyone can get what they want if you
Right.
have the right connection. So I don't think that this is going to ever be where it's something that they can control.
Right.
Unless you're going to a doctor where they're not prescribing so much.
Right.
I have some female athletes or just women who are housewives, and they're having a very hard time to keep their levels high. And they say, my doctor won't give me any more. I already done ran out. So
yeah.
it's on both sides of the map.
So can I talk about this? So obviously, I understand the guy side as you get older. I mean, it's the same thing. Everyone gets older. You can gain more weight easier. But like, what are some of the challenges as a female as you're getting older, right? Like, especially because I think everyone around 28, 29, their metabolism slows down like really hard for the first time, and then it keeps getting worse as you're getting older. But what is like a woman like let's just say it's because you're training a lot of people and you've seen people. What does a woman have to do when she first? Because like I've noticed, like it seems like girls are doing like 5 leg days and 1 upper body day.
Gravity is taking over. If you're gonna take a woman who don't exercise in her youth, she didn't have any form of exercise in her youth. It's different from a person who was an athlete, a woman who was an athlete. So let's start with the woman who never, ever exercised. She comes in the gym, she's in her mid-40s, she really want to tone, and she got the shakes in her arms. She says, Iris, I want to tone this up, and it's taking forever. I'm going to always stick to nutrition as number one.
Right.
Yep.
It's going to help your elasticity of your skin and everything. It's going to change the texture, and it's going to allow you to form that foundation.
Right.
So diet, number one, folks. There's no way you can escape that.
Right.
There's no
I cannot work it.
Hell no. You have to diet. 99.9% is going to be the diet for both parties.
Right.
After that point, genetics. Genetics is a very, very, very strong aspect of what you can build, what you can establish. Okay? So blame it on your parents. Okay?
You heard it here, folks.
Mom.
Mom and dad, if you didn't give it to me, I'm coming after you and not my trainer.
Right.
Okay, so we got our diet. We can.
And I'll get back to genetics in 1 second because that's like the one of the big black pills. Like I'm getting my soul's getting dark from my soul. But go ahead, sorry.
And then the next thing is consistency. You have to religiously adapt to coming to the gym regularly, 3 to 4 times, sometimes 5 times, especially if you never exercise. And you have to commit to the regimen that is in front of you. If you have a trainer, follow the lead.
Right.
You have a leader, follow. And after that point, the things that most women are affected with is their estrogen level. Boom. Go bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Estrogen level.
So that's one of the big things is like men's testosterone goes down and women's estrogen goes down.
Absolutely.
So is it ever a testosterone issue for women too? Or
Of course.
So it's
both.
Because to me it seems like the women are so much more complex on the endocrine level side. Because guys are like, check my test. Oh, I'm feeling great right now. You
Just get 500 tests real quick.
Got it. No, the women are having that same
Problem.
complex.
Yeah.
Yes. See, they got 2 in 1. You guys got 1.
Yeah,
Not fair. So, yes, we have to have that level out as well.
right.
And with those 5 components that I mentioned, they have to all work together. You can't do one without the other.
Right. So now, typically as a guy, we usually go heavy on chest, heavy on the back.
No
day.
legs.
No legs. Yeah. And women, it's all legs, no upper body.
Right.
But is that because you think it's a natural thing what we want to do? Like we want to be like this, and the girls are like the other side, so like we make a perfect
Johnny Bravo.
like if you take my hat, my top, and her bottom, it's like we're the perfect human.
So then you have the shape of what the judges are looking.
Right.
Big old shoulders, small waist, and tapered legs.
Right.
So we have the bottom, you guys have the top. I think it's all individually too. Most women want to have, you men always want women to have big bottoms, so they're working to have those glutes or steel.
I feel attacked right now. I
right.
feel really attacked right now.
Plead the fifth.
You guys do. You want them to have big quads and
Onion
big
booties.
glutes.
That's
honey
right,
buns.
that's right.
That's right. Honey buns back there. Let's not leave out. You guys want them to have the chest too. So what we're trying to do is manipulate and kill the bottom half and just contour the top.
Right.
So again, it's still an individual thing. I want to have balance. I want to have a little of everything.
Right. So how do you avoid the leg injuries with females because they're doing legs so much? Because like I've seen girls that working out by themselves, EOS gyms and stuff. I had no dis, but
EOS.
but they're at these gyms and they're doing legs all the time, and I see these girls like they get injured or they're like they end up skipping a whole week because then they get really destroyed because they're just doing back squats, front squats. I think I'll do the leg press machine today, and how does somebody, especially starting off, like is it just the classic going top bottom to like rest up, or is it you have to hit you have to lay legs multiple times? It isn't like a professional bodybuilder when they're like, okay, my shoulders are lagging, so I'm hitting it twice a week, 3 times a week. right?
It's all about the method. You have so many ways to work the body. Supersets, straight sets, having 80% of your body, 80% of your max weight, using that format. So it really depends on, are they doing the same type of workout in and out? Every muscle group needs rest.
Right.
So therefore, if I'm going to hit 80% of my max on my lower half, I'm damn sure not going to come in the next day and do that again, repeat that same method.
Right.
So those injuries come from not being smart or not educated about what they really need to do to stay from being injured. I'm injury free, by the way. I have not had an injury in my
There
whole
you
career.
go.
Now, my left knee did give me a little complication. It's just because of a lot of work. But have I ever had an injury? No, I have not.
Right. And is a lot of work from basically a lot of the machine or the free weights, or is it from the cardio? Because I know I've heard more people getting, especially as they get more advanced, it's really the cardio work that's just, you're just consistently putting this like
Too much pressure on the joints.
Stairmaster, or you're doing a lot of elliptical, your lower back starts hurting. That was me.
It's okay. We all know that you can put a lot of stress on any form of a cardio that you do. Besides the bike, the stair climbers, the treadmills, if you're constantly locking out, because in our head, when I'm on the treadmill, I'm always trying to squeeze my glutes. So that's going to cause me to what? Lock my knees. So it's the form of you traveling on each one of those exercises that affect your ability. So it has nothing to do with if it's free weights. Free weights, it takes at least 2 days for your bodies to recuperate from doing free weights.
Right.
It takes a lot more out of you.
Right.
Versus machines. Machines you can use until you're purple in the face. You can use them every day you're in the gym.
Those M tortures are torture.
Right? Torture.
Now Hide, so this is the question I wanted to say a little bit earlier about like kind of like genetics, right?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So you've been, both of you guys have been to the Olympia stage. Can you tell, right? I mean, like, a person that isn't trained, can you tell if they'd be like, oh, this guy might actually have a decent frame? Like, what makes a decent frame for bodybuilding versus like, oh, he would just look really good at the beach, right? Because I think most people can look good, it's just being in shape. But what is it? Is it like your muscle being lowered down here? Is it like small, joints?
Right. So ideal physique for bodybuilder, the longer muscle belly and a smaller joint. So it appears bigger on a stage under the light. So like it's kind of same thing. I just spoke about it. In a gym, it's totally different. Like people like big guy like on a short pants, tank top looks great, but on a stage he disappear. You can't find him because his structure is not ideal. So it comes down to, like I said, it's genetic, so you can't really change it. But answer your question, ideal physique would be for guy, wider shoulder, then the
barrel chest,
rib cage, need to be deep. It's not shallow. It's gotta be
so
deep.
like sticking out.
Yeah,
basically.
sticking out. It has to be thick.
Right.
Then of course the hip bone must be smaller.
Could vacuums help with that?
Yeah, vacuum help.
Vacuum.
Yeah. Then again muscle. Very. Look at my biceps. It has a gap. Look, it has a gap here.
Yeah.
So I don't have a long muscle belly.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's not. It looks like peak. Looks sharp, but it's not gonna be big. Like some guys has a longer muscle belly.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
So like Iris is known for her back.
Yeah.
The lats development.
Yeah.
If you look at her, observe her physique, lats going down really low. So you have more chance to grow, but some guys lats shorter.
Right.
Yes.
So it's a genetic. You can work your best, best you can do, but sometimes it's you stand next to like a genetic gifted guy, you can just lose. So that's bodybuilding, but it's apple and orange. Sometimes you come in better condition and you win, which I did most of the time. I beat many bigger guys because I came in sharper.
Right.
Sometimes they come in a little off. So it's not, you can't just say, okay, this guy's more genetic gifted, he will win. You can't say that, but like you said, if some guy, some more lady has great genetic and a great work ethic, put it together, they can be like Iris or Lonnie Coleman or Dorian Yates. So that's why I think Miss Olympia, you can't count it. Like 50, we did a 50 Olympia, but Miss Olympia is only how many?
Like 12.
Yeah, 12.
12.
Oh, Miss
right.
Olympia. Like some, you can count Miss Olympia too. So
Rest in peace, Sean Ray.
yeah, you don't.
Dang.
Yeah, it's only a few %. You can see these both excellent genetic and work ethic.
Right.
So after having 50 years plus of Olympias,
Right.
you only have 12 athletes being able to say,
Olympia.
I'm Mr. or Miss Olympia.
Right.
I have 10.
Because of you.
Hogging all the West
But you have to also credit he won the 212 Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger 212. He failed to mention that.
That show's becoming bigger and bigger too. I think it's just because of all the other sports they add to it,
Yes,
right? I want to go so bad. I need to go one of these
Yes.
days.
It also motivates you once you go to the Olympia or the Arnold. You come
Right.
back and you hitting the gym like you taking off fast.
Right.
It's very motivating.
Now let me talk about the black pill of genetics.
The black pill, the dark horse.
The dark horse. Right? And this is more on the YouTube, because you guys are the professionals, right? So like a lot of these YouTubers they're basically almost like,
Fly by night.
yeah, I mean not fly, well some of them, yeah, a lot of them will, but some of them are kind of like, how do I say, telenovela stars.
Yes.
Yeah, telenovela. There we go. Telenovela stars.
They're not truthful.
Right, you guys are method actors. The pyramid, right? But there's a lot of guys. This kind of irks me. Like when you first start. This is coming from a complete novice. When I first started, and I watched the YouTube game, watching Chris Jones, Scooby, some of the old guys, the old G's from the space and stuff, the Hodge twins, right? And then it started getting more serious. Like those guys were really good, but it was still like, it was more like a blog. You felt like you were a part of the fan. You grew with them, right? And then it started getting to more serious guys where you could obviously tell they were lying, and that's a big part of the business. Which it is what it is. But you too could be the same thing if you take my protein. Like,
Right.
It's just creatine, you guys.
That's
Hey,
right.
there you
Be
go.
cool
man.
like me.
So there's people that like this is the one that I really, after being in watching YouTube and watching all this stuff and working out for such a long time, that there is archetypes. There's different body types and stuff. Like some guys are naturally very skinny already. And what I notice is it's a lot of skinnier guys, or it's tall skinny guys, or short skinny guys. It's just that frame at the very center guys, and then they start getting some muscle, and they get a little bit on PDs. They don't get gigantic, but they look very great.
Right.
And it's like, well, America's fat and this and this and this, and it's kind of like a lot of these guys have never been fat. And they've always been in shape, where I don't really see a lot of guys who were overweight and got to that thing. And I feel like that's really what's missing from the industry. That I don't see the guys that did get overweight that got to that, not the pinnacle, but just got to this point where like they're really impressive and stuff. And
Right.
I think that's, we just recently had John Zerka here. This is something he talks about as well, that he says he wishes I could split up the PE class depending on like people's body types, and have like the fat kids running with the fat kids competing, instead of like you're putting the fat kid with this super athletic kid and he's just smoking them,
Right.
and then you're never finding out what actually works for each kid.
Interesting.
So I mean if you're, it's just kind of a weird thing where like regardless, not if you got it and you're working for it, and we all aspire to it, but like how much, I don't want to discount hard work, but I feel like, but there's also like a bit of a line that's going on as well, that there's guys that already pretty much had 80% there, and they and they're already there. That versus like there's like the same thing John Zerka's saying as well, that there's this fat kid and there's the fat kid who got into super good shape. That guy worked harder than some Olympians to get that.
Right.
So where do you put that, like in terms of, you see somebody and you're like, wow, this is gonna be a lot of work, right?
Yes.
do you tell? I mean, I don't know. Like, do you like specifically work them out a little different compared to other people? Because there's some people like they're on point with their diet and they're not losing weight. You know, and it could be endocrine, of course, but
Right.
you know, there's that, and like I feel like such a like a pansy for like I feel like such a pansy even bringing this up because it's like who cares, man? Just hard work, grit your teeth. But there is that lie that like, you know, some people, you're right, like you were saying, some people don't have the genetics.
Right. Look, from the dark side of the peel, is that what you called it?
Yeah.
It allows you to actually go beyond the call of duty with your mindset. First, you do have to have the mindset and say, this is what I want to develop out of taking the dark peel. And then it happens. It just a miracle happened because you know the proper method to do with the dark peel, and you already have the training pattern to implement it for everything to work hand in hand. Now, if I have an athlete who is totally natural, it is no way on God's gift to this earth will I ever race them the way that I raced. It's unfair, and it should not be publicly repeated out of anyone's mouth and say, you got to do it, and it's this way or the highway, because you are not inclined, the body is not inclined to take that type of damage and expect the outcome to be the same with the things that you use to get where you have gotten. It's absolutely unfair. I have athletes that are on both sides of the planet, and there's no way I would treat both the same. When I start with athletes or non-athletes, I tell them I'm going to take you accordingly to the capability that you store.
Right.
And nothing more. Do I put them on over-the-counter supplements? Yes. Do I make sure they're following their regimens? Yes. If they don't follow it, then I'm not going to coach them.
Right.
I follow up every 3 weeks and make sure that the body is changing, and if it's not going accordingly, I don't want to work with you because it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I have to be very on tune with what I'm assigning them, and if they're not following it, it's not going to work. But do the dark peel work? Hell yeah, it works. That's the end of the story. I use very small items because women don't have that opportunity as wide as men.
Right. So I guess it's like, I mean, maybe Hide can talk to this and stuff like that, because like, I mean, like you would know like the bodybuilding here in Japan and all these other places. It seems like to me, like as like a person who's been in the industry a long time, just viewing it from like YouTube and stuff like that, and just going to the gym just for myself, is that most of the workouts we've had are steroid workouts.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not. It's like we're not doing PD. It's just like I remember going to the. I remember going to the gym. God bless
volume.
my. Like they. I mean, they put me on the German volume training for my first ever fucking workout. But you're 18 and I mean you can do anything. But
Right.
a couple years later you're not.
Yes.
So how do you know how much to lower for like because when you're doing PEDs and you're working out a lot, you have the recovery, right?
Yes.
Versus you don't have the recovery now you have to. Is a natural have to be trained more to strength, or is it just more of like volume, just like weight times reps equals volume?
Look, we've been there too. We're at the beginning where we're a novice, so
Okay.
we actually know what the body can and cannot handle, and it also again is going to come from your background where you're an athlete. So you store muscle. We're just waking it up.
Right.
So everyone's different. So it's unfortunate that you have fly-by-night coaches and gurus who are taking these people to these different extents, and you should not.
Right.
So the standard exercise, just say you are trying to lose weight,
Yeah.
gain X amount of muscle. I'm not going to race you doing supersets on everything and putting all this heavy weight on you. We're going to do from 15 to 20 reps, 4 sets. For big body parts, we're going to implement 5 to 6 different exercises. We're going to race it that way.
Right.
So it's so many different transitions and methods that you can use to help each person get in shape, but it's just going to start with, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want me to help you with?
Right.
And you relate what you want, and we go that route. If you're skinny and you're trying to gain muscle, of course, the rep range is going to go smaller. We're going to go 6 to 10 reps, more heavier weight, But again, it's the weight that you can carry and lift, not me putting, you're going to do these 80s because I can do them. You should be able to do them.
Right.
Okay?
Now. So, now I might get you in a little trouble here.
You can't get me in trouble.
Okay. So how do you? So there's over the years, there's been all this kind of different training, right? I mean, we've had the golden era training. We've had like Dorian Yates kind of training and stuff like it's almost like phases and stuff. Like you had CrossFit famous for a bit, you know, RIP your joints, right?
Yeah.
But what are your one of the interesting one that's always like interests me a lot, but I don't know if it worked with as a natural and versus not natural is something the stuff Mike Menser did back in the day, which was like you just go really and like I know Dorian evolved it to be a little more volume than just like that. But what do you think about that? Does that work? Because I don't know if it works because you're taking the steroids and you're able to just destroy your body and then you recover, or is it even a natural can do it but to a different level?
Both. Because of course the steroid is allowing you to be able to do X amount of more.
Right.
And it also gives you a faster recovery time. So you're going to not only be strong, but also taking the black market steroid, whatever you want to call it, it speeds up much faster for you to recover faster. So you can do his workout, absolutely. But are you going to be able to put on all that weight? Are you going to need a little bit more rest time? Every soldier is different.
Right. So when you're working out, this is one of the hard part is I had to go to certain places and stuff like how much intensity you can make a muscle sore if you just do enough reps and stuff, but how do you teach intensity, or how do you do you have to go this hard to really you're trying, because one of the big things I've gone from the Powerhouse Gym is I'm in there and I'm busting a sweat.
Yeah.
I'm really, and that's that thing is you see bodybuilders or you see guys that are they work out in a lot of clothes and other things. Would you rather work out on a t-shirt and just sweat from how hard you're working there, or do you want to put some stuff on, some layers, and just sweat more, or is the sweating not really important?
Sweating is not important. So
dun dun dun.
Because sweat is just water, came out from your body. You have to replenish it, right? So if your temperature high, you got to sweat to cool it down. So it doesn't really matter how much sweat. Matter of fact, if you don't see sweat but it's dry, because it's dry here, you sweat actually. You're losing a lot of electrolytes in water, so you have to constantly hydrate yourself. But going back to your question, natural or enhanced, right?
Yeah.
So like I said, then we started with, of course, we didn't know anything, so we started with so-called natural, right? Then I was actually 10 years natural for when I was competing in Japan.
Wow.
So, because over there, it's drug tested, always drug tested.
Right.
And, so I competed as a natural, and then I competed in Asia and then a World Championships, where, or let's say one year, I forgot the year, but I came in fifth or top 5, right? Then 1 month after, most of the winner failed the drug test.
Right.
So that's how bodybuilding was operated. It was drug test, but people actually don't care. They just compete and win. Then months later, they fail the test. So that was the reality. So I knew guys are taking something overseas. I was natural throughout my amateur days until I became pro. So I noticed. So when I compete, obviously when I came in top 5, I beat some guys on enhanced, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's like creatine. Creatine. If you I take creatine. He doesn't take creatine. So I was ahead of him. It's really not. I think it's came down to what you have. So if you take something enhanced, and if you can be great physique, you must see more guys in great shape in the gym, right? If it's that easy. So I think enhancement is helps, but it's come down to what you got. Same thing.
Hard work.
Yeah, hard work. So I don't really, deny hard work, because if you in a competition, sometimes guys natural beat enhanced guy because they work harder, right? So that's happened. So vice versa, so it's you don't say it like A and B, like A is more genetically gifted. If he enhanced, of course he'll win.
He'll win, right?
But if B less genetically gifted, if he takes something, but still A still win, if he's natural. So I don't know. If enhanced is that big deal? Because I think that most of the people discuss. Because Miguel, you say you haven't done it yet.
No,
so,
I haven't.
You were really curious.
No, I've been. You have to know. Come on, shout out Athlete X.
Of course, I thought when I was doing natural, I thought it was a magic pill. If I took it, I would be Ms.Olympia like in a week, right?
Right.
But in reality, I start taking it, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Really, nothing happened.
You have to realize that they stereotype us. Because if I take what he take, I'll look like him. But that's not true.
Is that like discounting your work?
Absolutely. So that's number one thing I hate. She look like that. If I take what she's taking, I'll look like her. Bullshit. It's hard work first. And the magic pill second. But genetics plays the number one ticket to exactly how your body's going to respond, and if the stuff that you're taking is legitimately real.
Right. So a lot of people taking fake stuff, basically.
Yeah. Wow. So it's a lot of little twists in there, and believe it or not, don't discredit. We worked hard for how we appeared.
So is this true? Most people on steroids are fat.
No, average looking.
Because they think the magic pill is going to keep their weight down and they can just eat whatever they want.
Right.
That magic pill works from diet, proper rest, and training. There's no pill on this earth that's going to allow you to look the way you really want to look unless you do the work ethic.
Right.
Train, eat, and sleep. And tell mommy, I'll call you later.
Well, beautiful. Well, where can people follow you, Iris?
You can't follow me. No, I'm just joking. At iriskyle.com is at IRISKYLE. Iris Kyle.
Kyle. Beautiful. And Hide, where can people follow you?
Hide Yamagishi, Instagram, and also Twitter, same thing, Facebook. And what's the Powerhouse Gym?
Powerhouse, Las Vegas.
Powerhouse, Las Vegas. You guys better sign up today.
That's
guys.
right.
If you're in Las Vegas, quit your gym. Haram, no other gym in Las Vegas. Come over here if you want to hang out with the real boys, the real women. Powerhouse.
We don't judge. We don't socialize. We multiply with muscle.
You know what I love about the gym too? You have the best bodybuilding quotes and all the if you can work out in here and if you're texting someone and it's legible, you haven't worked out hard enough.
Exactly.
Everyone wants to be a bodybuilder, but no one wants to lift his heavy ass weights.
That's right.
And what I love about the gym too is that there's like the Ms.Olympia, the Mr. Olympia, like the Las Vegas locals. You have all this inspiration, like legends and stuff. When you're every time they position everything, when you're working out, you look up and like, what are you doing? You should be looking like this. Like going towards that. Like a lot of gyms are like really like missing that and stuff. So thank you so much for coming. And you guys, tomorrow I will be having Gary, the numbers guy, will be talking crypto conspiracy theory and 33. 22, 11 life path.
Yes,
and all that other jazz. So thank you so much, you guys, and peace.
Peace.